And right here in the studio with me is Tony Daniel. He's a lawyer and political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight.
Good evening.
Prof, good evening to you. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good evening.
Right. So let me start this conversation from the studio.
Yes.
The election is over. What's your overall assessment of the election? What's the impression? Is there so much to learn from that election?
Yes. Our democracy is evolving and we are learning. In respect of the deputy governor issue, he got a judgment at the Federal High Court by Justice Omotosho, and the judgment reinstated him as the deputy governor. And then there was an appeal. The appeal is subsisting, and why that appeal is yet to be taken, people mixed it up. There were actually two cases, and then there were supposed to be two appeals, but one was withdrawn. So the main one is the one that is challenging the judgment of Justice Omotosho that reinstated the deputy governor, Philip Shaibu. And while that appeal is on, an application to stay the execution of the appeal was filed. We must understand something. An application to stay the execution of appeal in most cases is not tantamount to a stay. If it is a death sentence, for example, it will be tantamount to a stay. You don't need to get the stay pronounced. Once you file an application for a stay, it automatically stays the execution. Because if the person is killed, and you succeed at the Court of Appeal. So the law makes sense. It's not, it doesn't allow absurdity and, embraces equity too. So now in this issue, politics is playing out. There is a time limit within which Philip Shaibu will remain deputy governor. There is a time limit within which the current governor of Edo State, the outgoing governor, will remain a governor. It's just, I think, about a month or so, or thereabout. So if we keep saying, oh, the appeal is pending, and the governor is on vacation, Section 190, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, made it clear when a governor is going on vacation, as the Governor Obaseki has just done, who will he hand over to? He shall hand over to a deputy governor. Okay. But he has handed over to Mr. Eboigbe, who was a former commissioner and current secretary to the state government. I think there is an issue here. There is a deputy governor that was appointed by Obaseki. Good. Now, there was a deputy governor that was impeached and that the court reinstated, for which an appeal has been filed. So who is the current deputy governor of Edo State? There must be a deputy governor. The position is not vacant.
So as a lawyer, who is the deputy governor of Edo State?
The governor that has been reinstated.
The deputy governor that has been reinstated.
Until that reinstatement is set aside, it remains the judgment of the day. Okay. It has not been set aside. And moreover, the application to stay the execution of that judgment has been filed. It has not been argued or granted. So the judgment remains subsisting. Because if you say, oh, we have filed an application for stay, therefore don't do anything, the tenure will soon end. And then there will be, the illegality will be accommodated. So we have seen some things happening in Edo State recently that is not too good. Apart from Philip Shaibu's issue, we have the issue of Okbila.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. Let me bring in Prof, because he's the Attorney General of the state. So I assume that he has more to say. Prof, let me come to you because you represent the state government, a PDP government, so I can only assume that you're not too pleased with the outcome of that election. But many believe that was a reaction of Edo people to the years of neglect and several allegations of underperformance and poor performance by the Obaseki administration. First, how do you react to that?
Thank you for having me. Let me correct the impression your guest in the studio has. I don't think he has. It's not seized of all the facts. And it's misleading the public when he says things he's saying. Governor Obaseki, first of all, is not on vacation. I don't know where he got that one from, probably from social media. So let's be careful about that. He's not on vacation. A couple of days ago, he was invited a long time and had a long-standing engagement, official engagement, which he had to honor. And so there's an engagement that's just for a few days, so it's not on vacation. So Section 190 or no other section of the Constitution comes into play. When he went on vacation previously, he handed over to the deputy governor in free rein to operate as constitution provided. So it's not on vacation, so that doesn't occur. Yes, the second issue is that Mr. Philip Shoaibu obtained a judgment, but the respondents, the defendants, were dissatisfied with that judgment and have appealed. And he knows, as a lawyer, that although appeal ordinarily doesn't operate as a state, but once there is a motion asking for stay of execution of that judgment, and in this case, there's a motion for stay of execution of the judgment, there's also, the same motion is also asking for injunction, pending the hearing and determination of the appeal. Once that is pending before the court, no party is allowed to do anything that will render, the likelihood of that application nugatory. So you don't do anything until that motion is disposed of by the court. A long line of cases. I don't start quoting cases in Vaswani, for example, the Ochuku's case as well. The people, while the motion was pending, the respondents went ahead to try to enforce, and the Supreme Court several years stated so many of these two cases and so many others. You don't do anything, you await the outcome of the determination of that motion to take any action. In any case, in your trailer, you talked about Philip Shoaibu going to assume duty. Now, you don't enforce judgment by yourself. You don't take self-enforcement of judgment. The declaratory judgment, what you do is that you get to the bailiffs and the sheriff to enforce the judgment. You don't just go there and take things by force. That is not due process. Once you have subjected yourself, and don't forget he went to court, once you've subjected yourself to the court process, you must allow the court and judicial process to run its full course. So he had no right whatsoever to start going there without enforcement by the assigned judicial officers who have to do that. Now, as to the case, the PDP does not accept that lost the case. From the results of the commission, the PDP won the majority of lawful votes cast at the election. It won those elections, and we're not talking from our own figures. The EC88, the results from the polling is given to the agents of the political party. The results at the World Coalition, RA Coalition Center, showed clearly that the PDP won. What happened was that when in some of the local governments, especially Ego, Oredo, and Kobaka, these are bounding the metropolis, Benin City metropolis, the soldiers were withdrawn for strange reasons. Soldiers were in parameters, the peripheries of the coalition center providing security. They were suddenly withdrawn. Shortly thereafter, the police came and said, "Oh, we don't have enough security. We have to." Not the police. They just came and said,
all right. Prof, let me come in here. For the purpose of clarity.
Sorry.
Prof, let me come in here for the purpose of clarity. You have just said that the governor is out of the country, is out of the state. So in his absence, who is in charge of the affairs of Edo State?
He is still in charge. I left him.
Who is in charge? Prof, who is in charge?
He is still in charge.
The governor is still in charge. I have state affairs. I left that meeting now to come here to honor this invitation.
What does the law?
And when I finish here,
Prof, kindly hold on.
I'm going back into that meeting. So he's very much in charge. He did not hand over to the Secretary of State government as being speculated.
So he did not hand over to anyone and he left the country. Is that what you're saying?
The governor is still in charge of the state, and he's running affairs of the state. I have just said that I've left the state meeting now, an EXCO meeting, a subcommittee of the EXCO considering certain bills we're presenting for the House of Assembly. I just left there now to come to this interview, and I'm going back into that meeting. Excuse myself to come here. So he's still very much in charge.
All right. Mr. Daniel, what does the law say in that situation? Is it possible that a governor leaves the country and is still in charge of the country, or of the state rather?
It is an aberration, legal aberration for that to happen. I'm surprised. Edo State is very vibrant, and with the utmost respect to the learned prof, I'm in litigation. If a governor, for any reason, Section 190, subsection 1, whenever the governor is proceeding on vacation or is otherwise unable to discharge the functions of his office, he shall transmit a written declaration to the Speaker of the House of Assembly to that effect, and until he transmits to the Speaker of the House of Assembly a written declaration to the contrary, and he has done that. In the event that the governor is unable to transmit within 21 days and all that, the deputy governor of a state shall hold the office of the governor of the state if the office of the governor becomes. So if the governor, for any reason, is leaving the country and there is a deputy governor, he hands over to the deputy governor. I'm surprised that my Attorney General is saying that the governor is still in charge, whereas it is a notorious fact that he handed over to Mr. Boybe. Mr. Boybe was a former commissioner and is currently the SSG. You know, let me quickly take us off this. There are matters in court and there are injunctions pending. Yet the state, under my learned prof, took certain action, whereas there are matters pending in two major communities.
Before we get to that,
yes.
I do apologize. Before we get to that, Prof, I see that you're shaking your head in disagreement to what Mr. Daniel has said. Because there is, the court had reinstated Philip Shaibu as the deputy governor of the state. But Governor Obaseki also has a deputy governor he chose for himself. So why didn't he hand over to Omabayo Godwin instead of you saying he's still in charge in absentia?
What do you mean instead of me saying? It's not a question of me saying. It's a statement of fact. Well, first of all, I'm not a professor, by the way. I did lecture for a while, but I'm not a professor. So please, I think I should be properly addressed so that it's not mistaken that I give myself a title. Your guest obviously does not know. What does it mean in first fact? From social media, there was no handover. The same social media said there was a virtual EXCO meeting. There was an EXCO meeting on Thursday, and I was present, and the governor presided. He was physically there. He was also there. He met the judges thereafter, the judges of the State Judiciary, who came to discuss the opening of the new legal year with him. This was public knowledge. He was there on Thursday, contrary to what he read on social media. So you don't take social media as gospel truth. You should get that clear. And he read that section of the law, that if he is going on vacation, the governor is not on vacation. Where you get that from? He's not on vacation. He went on a state assignment, has completed the thing less than 5 days away. Yesterday was a public holiday. He said I'm 5 days away, 3 working days away on state assignment. So why do you say he's not in charge? He's holding meetings. As I speak with you, there's an ongoing meeting that is being held now. So why do you say he's not in charge? He's not left the state in that sense. And he did not hand over to Mr. Boybe. Mr. Boybe is the Secretary to State Government. Things are going on smoothly. Mr. Boybe is not in charge. Nobody handed over to him. So it's misleading. We have been here. The president is out of the country. Did you hear he handed over? If he's going for a short, but he's going on vacation, so he probably has to hand over. There are several times he goes for a couple of days. He does not hand over to the vice president. So let's be clear on that. Let us not mislead the public. Let us not talk with state things that we're not sure on a factual basis. It's wrong to start to speak on things that you don't have a factual basis for.
All right. Another question out there is many are wondering why the governor has so much controversy around him. Why is there so much controversy around the governor? If you listen to the Labour Party candidate, Olumide Akpata, who accused him of swearing in only 5 of the 8 new judges recommended for the Edo State High Court by the National Judicial Council. And some say he did that swearing in 11 months after recommendation by the NJC. Edo State people say for 4 years, Governor Obaseki has refused to swear in 14 Edo State House of Assembly members, thereby denying 14 constituencies representation in the State Assembly. Only 10 out of 24 were sworn in. Why is the governor in so much controversy? That's my question. Before we move on to other court
cases. Because he's doing things differently. Look, Nobody, I'm a student of history, nobody ever challenged the status quo without being labeled controversial. Nobody. And take any revolution, you'll find that people always oppose you. The status quo, those who are the ancient regime, never ever give up peacefully or without resistance. When you fight corruption, corruption fights you back. When you try to change things, the privileged people will always fight. So let's take each and every one. It's not correct that he refused to swear. The governor does not swear in members of the House of Assembly. That is a job for the clerk. All he does is issues a letter of proclamation. And this case has been to court, so they will tell you that. The case went to court, and the governor was held to be correct. And he did not inaugurate the house 2 times. He inaugurated the house, certain people came in, and the others refused to be inaugurated, refused to subject themselves. And they went to court, and the court ruled against them. And that is very clear, and the court is the one, the arbiter in such cases. And it was very clear that, look, you do not inaugurate a house more than once. Once the house has been inaugurated, that's the end of it. There's no need to issue another proclamation as one had been given. They tried to come to forcefully again take over the house, and that failed. They refused to subject themselves, and they didn't come for inauguration. It was a voluntary thing. They voluntarily deprived their constituents of representation. So it's very wrong. A lie being repeated and repeated, it doesn't make it the truth. The lie is still a lie. Falsehood is still a falsehood. The fact was that those who came for inauguration were inaugurated. And after the inauguration, the House went about its business. They went to vote. These things were running business all the while until the term expired and then another election was held. And that was the end of that. A few, two or so members contested again and they got their seats back, and that was that. So ask any of them, ask anybody who raises that issue. Did the case not go to court? The court pronounced on it. And there's an excellent judgment of the court. The other attempts by them, they didn't follow up with their cases, and those other cases lapsed. But there is an excellent judgment which says that the inauguration was free, it was proper, and it was done in accordance with the law. That's a fact.
All right, AG, I'll come back to you, sir. Let me come back to the studio. Mr. Daniel, help me dissect these issues I just raised with the Attorney General.
Yes, you see, when you have a fact that is not controverted, you now try to look for a reason to justify that fact. Whether that fact is right or wrong depends on your own opinion and where you are on the pendulum. Back to the issue of the elections in Edo State. My own opinion that it was relatively peaceful and it was fair. And that is the general opinion. So the AG have his own opinion. That is one. Two, the fact is that did Obaseki work with complete set of legislators? The answer is no. So what he's saying is explanation why that occurred. But the fact is that that is the fact. That is the position. Has he also done anything that is against law?
Is that unconstitutional?
It's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional. One of the reasons why we are not happy with the administration, I am among those who are not happy with the administration of Obaseki, is because of so many illegalities. I'm surprised that we are trying to defend this position here. What we are supposed to be doing is to advise the governor with all sincerity and objectivity that this is a wrong position, not come on air to defend what we know is wrong. Okay, how can you also defend where a matter is in court? There is an injunction stopping all parties, including the office of the governor, from taking certain steps. You go ahead to take it and try to justify it. Like I said, the fact is that you've taken the step. The fact is that their matter is in court. The fact is that there's an injunction stopping you from taking the fact. You're not trying to justify it. That's what with respect the AG is doing here. He tried to justify a wrong position and canvass the wrong position. The governor, he has told us now.
But he's also speaking from the legal point of view.
Yes, but I have said it's unconstitutional. He said there was a court. Look, if you talk to the persons affected, you'll be surprised with what you'll be hearing. We heard that the court said they should be reinstated. They were not. You know, you can virtually exploit judicial procedure to, impose lawlessness, to impose injustice. You will exploit judicial procedure. That's what they call abuse. You exploit judicial procedure to force injustice on the people. That is what Governor Obaseki has done. So if he tries to justify that he's wrong, he has told us now that Governor Obaseki did not travel. I'm surprised. And that he has attended an executive council meeting. I'm surprised. If he has come back because he noticed that Phyllis Shaibu is trying to return to the State House, let us know.
All right. Let's talk about the office of the deputy governor, which I believe is created by the Constitution. Why is this subordinate to the office of the governor in this part of the country?
That is how it is, not only in this part of the country. The governor is the principal, and the deputy governor has its own constitutional role, but he acts based on the instructions and delegations of power from the governor. You can see the collaboration between the president of Nigeria and the vice. There's no issue, at least to the best of our knowledge. So, but if you watch Ondo State, they had similar issues, the deputy governor and the governor and all that, when he was sick. If you look at Goodluck Jonathan's time, when Yaradua, blessed memory, was the president and he was sick, we had the same issue. He didn't hand over reign of powers and all that until the masses started protesting. But I'm happy if the governor is around, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, if he's in the state, then it's okay. We shouldn't be talking about transmission of power.
Attorney General, let me come back to you because on this particular program, about a week ago, former Commissioner for Information, Barrister Andrew Mwanta, was here on Politics Tonight. He has called on the EFCC to question Governor Obaseki over several cases of embezzlement of funds. He raised a lot of issues. He alleged that Asa Godalo's running mate, who was former SSG, Osarodion Ogie, I hope I pronounced that correctly, is the sole administrator of Edo State Oil and Gas Commission. He says he and Governor Obaseki are the two individuals who control money meant for oil-producing communities. He said both men decide the contractors without a board. Tonight, Nigerians are listening. How do you defend this allegation?
Well, there are lots of issues here. Let me just quickly digress before answering that to the guests in the studio. He's asking us to go and ask people things. I have told him there's a judgment. He has not bothered to go and find out more, enlighten and educate himself about the judgment. He's asking you to go and ask people. There is a judgment. Let's deal with facts. He deals with that. And obviously, don't put words into my mouth. I'm more than capable of understanding and speaking the English language, such that I will say the things I mean. And he's summarizing the words I said and imputing things I have not said. As to the Mr. Nwata, you can, and he says he has graphs, so you see where he's coming from. Mr. Nwata also has graphs. Mr. Nwata was appointed initially into the State Executive Council. When State Executive Council was dissolved, he was not appointed back to the council. So, and he's never heeded his game, and he's very unhappy about that. So we know where he's coming from. And when you call on the EFCC, there's a process. You write to the EFCC. You have a right to investigate. Immunity does not cover non-investigation. And a lot of these people I've watched are treading the path of defamation, libeling people using all sorts of platforms. I want to be very careful about that. If he feels there are strong grounds for which anybody should be investigated, then he should write the petition, back with the facts, back with an affidavit, so that the investigation can be undertaken. So that is what I really want to say about that. It's after Mr. Obaseki feels he has done no wrong, we have seen no wrong like done, and that is what it is. Anybody who has facts should refer to the appropriate authorities.
Would you like to react to that?
Well, we will not know the correct position until when the immunity that the governor is currently enjoying is taken off constitutionally. And that will be when facts will start coming out. I am aware of disaffection against the governor by majority of Edo indigenes. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of various complaints. I don't want to speculate, but I know that by the time the governor leaves office, he's no longer under any immunity. People will come up with facts and evidence. And I think the EFCC will be waiting to investigate.
There are more allegations. He also alleged that Governor Obaseki's PA...
If I quickly respond to that.
All right.
The guest ought to know, as a lawyer, ought to know that immunity does not cover investigation. That has been pronounced upon by the Supreme Court. So the agencies are free to investigate. And in the case of Bola Tinubu, while he was governor of Lagos State, that case went up to the Supreme Court and it was very clearly stated there. I don't also, you see, he says he doesn't deal with speculation, then he speculates that the majority of people don't agree with what Mr. Obaseki is doing. And that is why the things that way. I'm not too sure where he got his statistics from. On the contrary, everywhere Mr. Obaseki goes, he's hailed, his achievements are there for all to see. I cannot wake up a person who's pretending to be asleep. But see, if you're genuinely asleep, I can wake you and show you things and point to things for you. I don't know that he resides in Edo or that I spent time in Edo. You will have seen the landmark achievements of Mr. Obaseki's administration. Furthermore, I think it was a vote of confidence. That is why the majority of votes cast at this last election were actually for his party. You know, I'm using the IREP results. I'm using the ECHA polling unit results very, very clearly, and people are very. The mood in the state is somber because of the declaration, whereas the person who scored the majority of local votes was not declared. Now, when the other party was declared, there's somber mood apart from thoughts. He will say, go there now, carry out a scientific poll, and you'll see what the people are saying. So I beg to disagree with him. It's basing on emotions, not on science or facts.
All right, Prof. Mr. Daniel, when you hear Prof say immunity does not protect you from being investigated, how debatable is that?
Conventionally, why do you remove persons in office to enable you to investigate the person? Even those that don't have immunity, you remove them. Why was the governor removed of the central bank? To enable investigations. Because when the person is there, There is no way we will not frustrate investigation. Most of the governors that have been sent to jail, that have been investigated successfully by EFCC, it was after they left office that it was done. And then let me quickly come back that the majority of votes that PDP got, it was because of the personality of their candidate. He got that vote himself. If Obaseki has brought another person, because we all know Aswe, he's a nice man, it's unfortunate that he came through. If not for PDP, I would have voted for Aswe. A lot of people would have voted for him. But it was Obaseki that made him to lose. I'm telling you, that majority vote, the vote he got is because of his personality and his person. He's well respected, even though he has lost this vote. We respect him so much. So the AG should not defend what is not defendable. My position is that Obaseki failed in the administration of governance in his term. And I want to even take it up with our comrade Oshomole, because he was the one that sold Obaseki to us. You understand? And he was the one that sold Obaseki to us, because if he has not come to convince us to vote Obaseki, we won't vote him. We will not vote him. So my take is that the administration at this tail end has been doing a lot of illegalities. Major towns, Okwila, the second town, South Ibie Kingdom. Matters are in court. There is subsisting injunction, stopping you from taking certain action. You took the action, and again, the AG tried to defend it. Oh, we are referring to Supreme Court judgment. There is a judgment right now. Go and set it aside. You cannot say you are not aware of the judgment, because you have applied to set aside some of the judgment. And your application to set aside the judgment, I'm not taking. I mean, order of court restraining you and the government from taking certain steps. You took those steps. Of course, like I predicted in this same station, that Philip Shaibu will be reinstated when he was impeached. I am predicting that most of these actions that have been taken, the court will reverse.
All right, Mr. Daniel, you said that election was relatively peaceful. So would you attribute that to heavy security presence?
Yes, we must commend the IG for suspending the operations of the Edo Security Network and Vigilante for the purpose of that election. It was in Edo State. The chief security officer of Edo State is the governor. A deputy governor and a gubernatorial candidate were attacked in the daylight. No arrest was made. So it was a nice one from the IG suspending them. Then I must commend Frank Uba. You know, Frank Uba has been in a public media publicity of the police protocols, operations, so he has experience. He was able to handle security. He took the fight to those who were planning to come and cause breach of peace. Right. He didn't wait for them to cause it and start arresting them. He took it to them and he prevented them. And you see how he politely got the governor to leave the office of INEC in the heat of time. That's a very bad precedent. I want to commend him for that again.
All right, Eji, let me come to you. We're wrapping up in a minute. So would you like to react to everything Mr. Daniel had said in the last few seconds?
Mr. Daniel doesn't speak law. Unfortunately, he doesn't speak to facts, he doesn't speak to law. So that is the disappointing thing about his own position. You know, and it's difficult for me to react to sentiments and opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but when you start going to facts, that's when I'll react to you. As for the governor went to the collation center, went something on what was happening. The candidate went there. Unfortunately, they worked out an candidate, which is illegal, which is contrary to law. And by the way, the Inspector General said he suspended the operation, but he clarified that because he has absolutely no power to suspend any outfit like the Edo Vigilante set up by law. He recognized that and he explained it. If only you not read social media but go to mainstream news items, you see the clarification preferred by the Inspector General of Police. He said police is the lead agency in election security, and these people are not generally involved in election security, which is true. Federal agencies are part of the Interagency Committee on Election Security, and these are the people that historically have been used, not by law, but historically they have been used as providing security to the electoral process. So that's what it is, basically.
Sadly, we have to end this conversation here, but I must thank you both for coming on the program tonight. It was important that we have this conversation so that we can have proper perspectives on that particular, some of the speculations out there. Thank you so much, Wale Osaze Ozi, Attorney General, Edo State, and Tony Daniel, is a lawyer at Political Affairs Analyst. Thank you so much for joining us on Politics Tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for watching, everyone. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But you can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at midnight. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke. Meanwhile, we now bring you a repeat broadcast of a journalist hangout exclusive interview with the governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Good night, everyone.
It's the Onga Taste the Millions promo with 250 million naira worth of cash and prizes to be won. To win, buy any of the new promotional packs. Take one empty sachet of the Onga 90Q pack or 2 empty sachets of the Onga 50Q pack to the collection center and exchange the sachets for a scratch card. Scratch the card to reveal a unique code. Text the code to 1393. Promo runs from September to October 2024. Visit www.ongamillionspromo.com.
So creamy, tastes better with Cremella.
Enjoy the deliciously rich taste of Cremella Crema.
For any other choice of meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, even between meals.
It's hard to resist the deliciously rich taste of Cremella. It tastes better with Cremella.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you tired of spending countless hours in the kitchen, wrestling with cumbersome appliances and juggling multiple tasks just to prepare a single meal? Frustrated with messy cleanups from different tools that never seem to get the job done right? Do you wish there was one solution that could handle all your blending, chopping and grinding needs effortlessly? Introducing the CookX 4-in-1 Blender. It's a food processor, a mixer, a grinder, a blender, and a juicer, all in one. Our CookX 4-in-1 blender is here to take your cooking to a whole new level. This versatile blender comes with 3 convenient cup sizes, each designed for specific tasks to make your life easier. First, the 650 ml cup, perfect for mincing meat, pounding yam, and chopping vegetables. Save time and effort with this powerful accessory. Next, the 450 ml cup, ideal for grinding coffee, spices, and more. And the 1.8 liter cup, perfect for blending fruits for smoothies, peppers, and yes, even blending beans. Lastly, the CookX 4-in-1 blender comes with a convenient filter. Now, you can create delicious, nutritious smoothies and meals with ease. The secret of the CookX blender is the 800-watt motor combined with a precision extractor blade that gives you the power to turn ordinary foods into extraordinary foods. And different speeds give you the complete control you need. Savory stew, delicious egusi, tasty blended beans for akara and moi moi, pounded yam, and everything in between.
The CookX 4-in-1 blender has been a game changer for me. It takes the hassle out of meal prep and lets me whip up healthy treats for my family in no time.
The CookX 4-in-1 blender is the only blender I use in my kitchen. Its variable speed control lets me achieve the exact texture I need for each dish.
With its easy twist locking technology and powerful motor, the CookX 4-in-1 blender is engineered to tackle blending challenge you face.
The global best-selling CookX 4-in-1 blender is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. Call the number on the screen now and get the CookX 4-in-1 blender for just 189,915 naira. The CookX 4-in-1 blender comes with one powerful 800W motor base, one easy twist extractor blade, one 1.8 liter cup, one 650 ml cup, one 450 ml cup, one filter, 2 lids, and one dry grinder. All this for just 189,915 naira. You can get the CookX 4-in-1 blender with 2 easy payments of 94,975 naira. That's right, pay twice to get this amazing blender. But hurry, this exclusive ShopX TV offer is for a limited period only.
The preceding was a paid presentation brought to you by Shop.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Alhaji Ahmed Usman Ododo became the governor of Kogi State after winning the election that took place some months back. And this is his first exclusive interview with any broadcast medium. It is our pleasure, Your Excellency, to be here to have this interview with you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the job you do for our people.
Thank you.
My first question is, how have you found the experience as governor of Kogi State? How have you found the challenge?
Thank you very much, my brother, and thank you for having me. Thank you for taking out time to come down to your former state. Well, we thank God Almighty for making it possible for us and counting us among those to witness today. And I thank the good people of Kogi State for trusting me. Well, the experience has been so wonderful, and if I may say, I have been in the system. I was employed as Auditor General for local government by His Excellency, the former governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Abelo, on the 1st of March 2016. I worked with him for over 7 years before this divine mandate was bestowed on me by God Almighty through the good people of Kogi State. And as somebody that learned through the system, I can say it's still a wonderful experience for me. Because let me tell you, if you are not there, you don't know how hot that seat is. But with God Almighty and with the help, the prayers and support of the good people of Kogi State, I think we are getting to the promised land. Let me appreciate our father, our leader, Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, for the recognition given to the younger ones like myself. He has given us voice, and I promise him that I will not disappoint myself. I will not disappoint the good people of Kogi State, and he will be proud of us being the last child or son of Mr. President and the baby of the house in the Committee of Governors. We are students. You know where Mr. President is, we are still students. And I'm learning fast from him and from my colleagues. My first interface with Mr. President, he did say, Ododo, you are the governor today, but for you to claim that mandate, you have to serve your people. The mandate is for the people. Make sure you go down and make sure your people feel the impact. And we thank God we are on it. If you look at what we have done so far, we have carefully chosen our strategy and plans to ensure that we don't miss our step. Kogi State today is one family, more peaceful, and we are looking forward to make sure our resources work for us. Thank you.
Now, many Kogites, especially civil servants, are not happy with past governors in this state. They always say that governors don't take care of workers, governors don't care about the welfare of workers. In fact, Kogi was notorious for non-payment of salaries, to the point that when President Buhari released bailout funds, Kogi, the funds released to Kogi was the highest, because Kogi was owing so many months in unpaid salary arrears. What are you doing differently in terms of workers' welfare, so that during your time they won't say, Ododo too was like those before him, he didn't take care of workers? What are you doing this time?
Thank you very much for this expected question. When I was appointed on the 1st of March 2016 as Auditor General for local government, as at that time, please, you can confirm, no local government can pay more than 27 salary. Categorically, it was only Okene local government and Lokoja local government that can boast of paying 27%. And as at then, we inherited the government of Alhaji Bello, the former governor of Kogi State, inherited areas of unpaid salary. For the state, it was over 4 months. For the local government, in fact, we cannot even establish that because there had been a percentage, not only during the last government. And what we did, he is an accountant, the commissioner for finance, an accountant, auditor general for the state and that of local government, accountant general, and so many others were professionals. Let me remind you, this bailout was not applied by our government, it was applied for by the administration of Wada then, yes. But they could not access it before he exited the office. When we came on board, we had to sit down and look at what do we do. We have to start payment of areas of salary 4 months. You can confirm, it's an open secret, it's there for you to verify. That was cleared, and we had to start shifting it. This is another area I would need to appreciate our president. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a man of the people, he's a father and he's a leader. Throughout my 7 years plus as Auditor General for local government, I think the highest allocation local government had ever gotten from monthly FAC was about 3.9 billion then, where you are having a wage bill of about 4.75 billion local government. Local government, yes. How do you go about it? Before we came on board, there is this particular local government, 3 months allocation combined to pay 10%. The records are there. I will tell you at the appropriate time. I have all the records because I have access to go through their financial records. What did we do? We planned our finances, we planned our expenditure, and immediately we started improving on the percentage payment at the local level. And to the glory of God Almighty, His Excellency, the former governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Alhaji Bello, handed over to me at the point of 70% at the local government level. And as somebody that learned through the system, I had to devise a style of cutting down the cost of governance. And I'll tell you, the very day I was sworn in, I made some appointments. It was a deliberate attempt to cut down the cost of governance. People called me that, why should you return some of those that you serve together? I say, well, I have my own reason, I have my own plan, because I am coming to serve the people of Kogi State, because this mandate is a trust bestowed on me to hold for them and to serve them sincerely and with integrity. One of the reasons is, up till now, none of them can ask for official vehicle. None of them can put up a claim for accommodation and all what have you. The new appointees, my table my file is full now, requesting for official vehicle, requesting for accommodation, and of course, you have to provide that. I have to call them and talk to them to let us see how our people can be served. Secondly, I am still using my car as Auditor General for local government, because our people need to be served. We have to serve them and not to be served. 2, I was once a civil servant. I know what it is for somebody to work for 30 days. At the end of it all, you don't have anything to show for it. And that is why I said we need to appreciate Mr. President for his policies, for his programs. Then we need to work with his idea under the Renewed Hope initiative, so that we can jointly pull ourselves out of this inherited economic crisis being faced by the country. So what we do is to look at our finances, make salary payment as priority. As it's coming in, we have to take care of it before going into any other expenditure. We are at 90% and we are going to get there. And I want to correct one impression. Kogi State has since implemented the 30,000 naira minimum wage. The records are there. you can contact our union, you can verify it yourself. I don't respond to noisemakers on social media and what have you, because it's not part of the mandate given to me by the good people of Kogi State. My own is to come and consolidate on the achievement of the previous administrations. Okay. You can confirm that throughout Yabelo's administration. Okay. It has been 100%, and we have...
Is the local government that are being paid?
Based on the financial resources then, and we thank Mr. President. Let me tell you, as it is today, our allocation has improved because Mr. President is out to serve the good people of this country for prosperity's sake.
You said you are 90%.
Exactly.
For the local government workers.
Yes.
At what time do you envisage that you'll be able to pay them 100%?
Well, as a financial planner, we are on it, and we are praying and hopeful that in no distant time, you will hear the good news.
What are you doing to show up the internally generated revenue? Because this can help you even in implementing some of your ideas.
Since I've been part of the system, and remember I'm an accountant, there are some loopholes. We are now blocking them now. Like now, the entire system of our KJRs is automated as I'm talking to you now. From my office, I know what is going on, how much we have realized today, from which revenue head. So we have automated the system. We have instituted an enforcement team that will go around, and of course, as Auditor General, I have a way of getting my own information too. Yes. So let me tell you, Alhaji Abelo handed over 1.8 billion. I think the highest we have ever collected is 2.1 throughout his period. Yes. With our collective effort. As I'm talking to you now, this last month we have moved it to 2.3 billion, and our target is 5 billion per month for the start. So we are getting there. So we are working on our idea. That is why we are planning to industrialize Kogi State. Kogi State has potential to compete favorably with Lagos and any other state in terms of IGR. Let me tell you. Our state, in fact, your kingdom is full of mineral deposits, free by God Almighty. Kogi State has over 32 mineral deposits in commercial quantity. This time around, it has to work for us. That is why we are engaging our critical stakeholders to look back home. Because these resources are not just there for the sake of being there. So we have met and we said, no, this time around we have to unlock it. We have to unlock our potential, let it work for us. From our meeting, Economic Council meeting, we have all resolved that these resources must work for the people of Kogi State for greatness. What do we do? If you are genuine, sincere, and committed investor, and you want to tap into our mineral deposit, the door is open, you come in, but with condition. No investor will go out with our raw material. It's not going to happen. But if you know you are committed, you are sincere, and you are ready to do business with us, come with your processing plant. Come and set up here. Yes. So that by setting up a processing or manufacturing plant, employment will be generated, revenue will be doubled, and it will enable Kogi State to contribute handsomely to the GDP, national GDP. That will place us on the path, on the world map in terms of development. This we are doing. Very, very soon, Dangote is there. Manga will soon commission a multi-billion-dollar cement factory project within this year. That will also boost the economic activities of our dear state and development. We are meeting, and is ready to comply with our CSR policy. So very soon, Kogi State will be placed on the world map in terms of development. Courtesy, Mr. President, we have to follow him. If you have a sincere leader leading from the front sincerely, others will follow. So we'll continue to follow him. We'll continue to collaborate with our stakeholders for the greatness of our dear state.
Your Excellency, I had I got one information that you are actually planning to build an airport here. Is it true? If it's true, walk us through how you intend to realize that goal, given that an airport project is a highly capital-intensive project.
Well, as I've said, we are here to serve our people, and we want to make our own legacy that will outlive each and every one of us, including me and you, where our children will come to beat their chest that, yes, my parents, this is what they have done, we are coming to build on it. And as I've said, if you look at Kogi State is so blessed. And a state like Kogi State, if you don't have airport, then there's problem. Ajakuta, for example, has all it takes to hold an airport. We have an existing air fleet owned by federal government. Discussions are ongoing to upgrade it to cargo airports. Because by the time, let me tell you, it's a vision which, by the special grace of God Almighty, with the effort Mr. President and the interest is putting, we're going to actualize it. In Ajakuta, for example, we have gas, we have rail, we have water bodies, and we have the plant. You are in Derek, you saw what is going on there. We want to make Ajakuta a commercial hub, an industrial hub, where everybody will go and transact your business seamlessly by the special grace of God, and it shouldn't be a barrier for an investor coming from outside the country, coming from Abuja, to start struggling on the road. So that is key to us, and we are very committed to it. And by the special grace of God Almighty, before the end of our first term, I think you come back to say, you said it. We pray to God Almighty to give us the resources and the strength to make sure we end it before even the end of our second term. Mr. President is very committed to it. He has special interest for Kogi State. Being the last one of his, he will not allow me to struggle much. So, and I'm very committed. Very well. I have made that promise before him. As a father and as a leader, I will not disappoint him, because he has given us a lot, we the younger ones and the children of nobody, to come and showcase ourselves for the world. And I'm part of it. I am leading from the front, and I will expand this opportunity for other younger ones to benefit from.
Recently, some bandits invaded the Conference University of Science and Technology, which, in my view, is the best achievement of your predecessor and leader, Laji Yaya Dozabelu. They took away the students. 2 students died in their hands. While I want to condole you over the loss of those students as the governor and father of the state, what steps have you taken since that unfortunate incident to ensure that we do not face that kind of problem again, not just at Kustek, but across the tertiary and secondary institutions in Kogi State?
Thank you so much. It's sad that such unfortunate incident happened to us and our students. Well, in terms of security, and I think we can all attest to that the former governor has done very greatly in that aspect. I've been part of the system for almost 8 years, or over 7.5 years before I resigned to contest for this seat. And throughout my 7 years, I have never been left out in the security management of this state. Yes, I know they will always come to try that, yes, UIB is off. This is a fertile land for them to come and trade. Well, they came, and well, it's quite unfortunate. Out of 31 students, we rescued 29, and they murdered 2. May their soul rest in peace. But let me tell you, wherever they are, I think Kogi State is going to be a no-go area for them. They always come in their numbers, and they always go back in their zeros. For all the classes they entered, the CCTV camera was disconnected from the source.
From the fiber.
Yes. So that cause for concern. But let me tell you, security matters are not being discussed in the public. We have our strategy. Let me tell you, the only one I can let you know is this. The perimeter fencing, if you observe, I think you are in Kogi Kostek. If you observe, even before then, we have commenced the perimeter fencing. But what we are doing now is to fast track it, to make sure we get it done. It's not only going to be perimeter fencing. We're going to make a ditch within the perimeter fencing. It's the part of security control. And there are others that we are using to control the situation. But it's not only in Kostek, across our institutions. So it is confidence building. The parents, they are all aware and they are all happy about it. And by the special grace of God, such things will never happen again.
People say we cannot defeat insecurity without deploying